Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to Stand channel. So this is Mastering Microsoft Azure series. In this session, we are going to have a very detailed look at the Azure Network Watcher feature. So we are going to have a very detailed demo-based session on the different features that are available with this particular Azure Network Watcher. There are plenty of tools that is part of this particular Azure Network Watcher suite. So we are going to have a detailed look on each and every tool with practical hands-on demo. So start understanding what is Azure Network Watcher. See, Azure Network Watcher, as the name indicates, it's a monitoring tool. So it monitors the environment, especially the network performance, latency of your infrastructure as a service workload in Microsoft Azure. So when I say infrastructure as a service workload, it's like your virtual machines, virtual network, load balancers, and so on. And this particular tool can detect and also it can help you to diagnose the issue. We can do the assessment and we can also monitor the different aspects. So it's not just limited to connectivity alone. It can definitely track the performance and latency. And also, if you have VPN solution, if you have a hybrid environment or multi-cloud environment, it can help you to troubleshoot the VPN connections as well, and also it can help you to understand where exactly the latency is, even if it is a hybrid platform or if it is a cross cloud connectivity. This can clearly tell you where exactly the bottleneck is, and you can quickly troubleshoot the problem. Right now, we will understand each and every feature part of this particular tool in details. So from exam point of view, you will get a maximum number of questions in Azure AZ 700 Azure Network Engineer exam. Also in Azure Administrator exam also, you will get couple of questions on Azure Network Watcher. So this Network Watcher tool, as I said, it's a suite of tools. It's not a single feature. It's like this feature, the Network Watcher feature has got multiple set of tools and sub products. And as part of the capability, so it is grouped into three different categories: monitoring, network diagnostic tools, and traffic. And this particular entire set, for example, the first one, right, when it comes to monitoring, you've got two different sub product: connection monitoring and topology. And in the second diagnosis category, a set of tools that covers across VPN, NSG, network security group, and packet capture, and so on. And also you have a traffic capability, which covers the flow log and the traffic analytics. So as the definition indicates here, Azure Network Watcher provides a suite of tools to monitor, diagnose. It can also view metrics like utilization, latency, performance, and so on. And also you can enable or disable the logs for your Azure infrastructure as a service resources. So if you have other resources like platform as a service or databases or app services and so on, Microsoft provides a different overarching product called Azure Monitor. So Azure Monitor can help end-to-end monitoring of all the Azure resources, but this particular product is meant for Azure infrastructure as a service resources, and that too the network level performance and latency. So you can clearly see that this is confined to this particular set of infrastructure as a service product, and also it is clearly called out that it is not designed or intended for pass monitoring or web analytics. Okay, so let's have a detailed discussion of all these tools little later, but at a very high level. So when it comes to connection monitor, it is going to help you monitor the end-to-end connectivity. Like you can have one system talking to another system within Azure or across different cloud platform, like one in Oracle, and the database can be in Oracle, and the front-end web server or application can be in Azure. Or due to data residency, you might have your data and database in your on premises and application or web server in cloud. So you can connect all the endpoints, you can monitor and track where exactly the problem is, and the latency, the route it takes. All of these things can be monitored. It can be a multi-tier application, or you can have a hybrid environment where your workloads are scattered across. And this topology is very helpful, and it's a visualization tool where you can understand how the entire looks like a network look like. It covers the network configuration. It shows you the complete relationship of across the resources. You might have created the resources in multiple subscription resource groups, locations, regions, and so on. But this particular tool will give you a complete interactive interface to view the resources and understand how they are related to each other. The relationships will be clearly visible. And similarly, there are plenty of other tools which you can use for network diagnostics, but to understand the next hop, the flow, the traffic capture, troubleshooting, and so on. So there are plenty of tools we will get to understand one by one. And under the traffic, you have the flow log, where you can completely log all the information about your Azure IP traffic, and you can store all those data either in Azure storage account, or you can steam it to another third-party solution like Splunk, and you can do all kind of auditing and analysis. Similarly, the traffic analytics tool also help you to get a very rich visualization of the flow log information. See, this is something different. So the topology is the relationship between the resources, whereas the traffic analytics, it gathers all the flow log and it will provide you a complete rich visualization to understand where exactly the issue is, and it will give you a beautiful visualization aspect. So now, when this Azure Network Watcher feature will get enabled. So whenever you create a new virtual network in a particular subscription in a particular region, automatically the network watcher will get enabled as a feature. Okay, it's a feature, but it is a suite of tools that has got many sub products. So here I have created virtual networks in South India, Central India, and East US, and a couple of other locations automatically. So if you go and check the network watcher, you will be able to find that the network watcher has got created in all those 5 or 6 regions, right? You can see that it has got created in all these 5 or 6 regions. And if in case you want to create a new one, you can create a new network watcher here for a particular region. See, one region can have only one network watcher per subscription. And for example, all these locations, East Central India, East Asia, East US, so these regions will not be listed here. Reason is you can have only one network watcher per subscription per region. And I can go and create in a particular new location. For example, I already have it in East US, but I can also create one in East US too. Okay, and then add it. So this network watcher is a regional construct, and this will be useful to monitor and track all the resources pertaining to that particular region in that particular subscription. So it is very easy to create a network watcher, and it automatically gets created when you have a virtual network created in your particular region. And now some organization might have their own tool of choice. They might have their own policies. And if in case they are insisting you to disable the network watcher auto creation, you can disable the network watcher auto creation using Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell. So this is one single command which you can run on that particular subscription to disable the auto network watcher account creation in that account. And you can also register for the feature. So there are a couple of commands, so you can do it. Or else if you want to stop the network watcher account getting automatically created, you can also use this command to disable that. This will prevent the feature or network watcher to get auto enrolled. Okay, so this is a option that you will generally use. And network watcher has got multiple features, multiple different sub tools. And for example, when you are using the connection monitor for an example, so the connection monitor tool, it's going to monitor the different connections, different endpoint. The endpoint can be your on-premises or SaaS application, or it can be in Azure or Oracle data center. It can be any endpoint. The endpoint can be an IP address, an URL or URI or FQDN. And so it can cover all the different host name, IP address, and so on. You can configure the endpoint, and even if it is an Azure resource, you can go and select the resource in the drop down. Like you can directly go and select the Azure virtual machine and such things. So the endpoints will be added onto this connection monitor to find out where exactly the problem is, where exactly the latency is, where exactly the drop is happening. So in order to get this monitored using connection monitor for this specific sub feature, If you want to add a Azure virtual machine, you have to go and add the Network Watcher extension on your Azure virtual machine. And similarly, on your on-premises or other cloud systems, you have to add the Azure Monitor Agent, or we call it as Microsoft Monitoring Agent or Log Analytics Agent. So automatically, the system's information will get stored in the Log Analytics workspace behind the scene, and from where you can fetch the information, or whether there is a performance issue or latency issue and so on. So these are the different monitoring element that we have, and this is more of a network performance monitoring tool. It can go and find out, detect where exactly the routing errors is, latency is, and so on. And it can also store all the logs, and you can also use this log analytics feature to capture all the data about a set of Azure networking components or hybrid components, and you can go and filter the log output by IP address or load balancer or network or particular application gateway or network security group and so on. So it's a very powerful tool. We will have a detailed look on how you can create the connection monitor and do a practical session on that. But for now, I'm just explaining. So network watcher as such, it's not a single tool. It's a collection of 10 or 12 different tools across different capabilities and components. So this is one of the example that we were discussing, connection troubleshoot. And similarly, we have next hop to identify how the traffic is flowing through, which is the gateway, and where exactly is the next hop for your traffic flow. And there are plenty of other tools which helps you to provide different aspects. So we will get into the details of each and every tools one by one. So they are categorized into monitoring, diagnosis, and metrics and logs. We will go through each and every service. So at a very high level, Network Watcher is a regional service, and it has got multiple sub features and components which will help you to observe, monitor various endpoint, and it will help you to address any specific connectivity or performance or latency issues between two different endpoint or between your system, and you can go and quickly change the aspect. See, when it comes to Azure Network Watcher, so your workloads or your systems might be in multiple region, multiple cloud, on premises, and various different network elements might be involved. And there are different tools which can help you to be in a better position when your workloads are scattered across hybrid environment, and even you can monitor, track the VPN setup, express route setup, and also the network security group and so on. So we will see one by one, and for each of your services there is a limit. Okay, so this is our, these are the soft limit. And if you see the request increase option, so there is an option to increase it on yourself, like you have the edit option here. You can go and change the upper limit, but then if there is a icon like this, you have to connect with the Azure support agent, and they will be able to tell you whether this changes can be made or whether you are eligible to do that change. For example, here for the East US region, so generally per region, per subscription, we are allowed to create only one network watcher. We already created it, and that's why it says 100% use already. And similarly for each and other services, like within your network watcher also, there are limit. Like for example, the connection monitor in your subscription, you can have up to 100 connection monitor, and you can create maximum of 20 test group per connection monitor, and you can have 10,000 packet capture session in your network watcher. And when you're doing a VPN troubleshooting, you can create a separate VPN troubleshooting per subscription. So there are other aspects as well, and you have for each and every resource that you create in Azure, there is a soft limit, and you can also keep track of it under the usage and quota within your network watcher. So we created a network watcher just now, right? And if you go there, you will see all these options, including the different metrics, the usage quotas, and so on. So this is what I was talking about, and you can also see the same exact current count. Maybe the screenshot that I took might be a month old, and the limits might have got changed. We never know. So yeah, so we'll quickly have a look. But this is the screenshot I have got here. And also you can create beautiful, or you can look at different metrics, logs, and different traffic aspects in a one single screen for your particular application, or for your particular workload. So you also have a separate tool called Azure Monitor, which is an overarching tool. It's not just for network. It covers platform as a service, and also it covers containers and every single Azure resource. So we will also compare Azure Monitor against Azure Network Watcher in the next session. But for now, so you have plenty of tools that we need to discuss. So we will discuss each and every tool one by one. and we'll have a detailed practical session on all these tools. Thank you for listening, and we will also have a quick check at the usage and quotas. If it opens, it's fine. Yeah, it's opening, and you can also see the option. For some of them, you have the new quota request option, and for some of them, you have the option to call the support agent. So stay tuned. So we will have a look at all these services in details. So for now, you can see I have already created the network watcher in 7 regions, and the remaining regions you can create. So it is only one network watcher option, a feature option in each region per subscription.